someone told me that a while ago, why do you walk so well? Because from age 2, you practiced it, right? Same goes for security. If you will practice security mindset, then eventually it will be there, whether you think about it proactively or not. So train this line of thought, train this mindset, eventually it will happen.
Welcome to the DevSec for Scale podcast, the show that makes security a first-class citizen for growing companies. My name is Jeremy Hest, Head of Developer Relations at Hila, the secrets management SaaS platform. This interview podcast brings security experts and practitioners together to offer practical and actionable ways for small and growing companies to implement security best practices using shift-left principles without interrupting developer life cycles. Welcome back, everyone, to the DevSec for Scale podcast. My name is Jeremy Hess from Hila, and we are here with Hila Fish from Wix. She's a good friend of mine, a fantastic DevOps engineer for many years, and we're really grateful that you took the time, Hila, to be with us today. So thank you very much for that. And before we get into a little bit about yourself and, of course, Wix, for those who don't know, let's get right into it. What is it that makes a DevOps engineer more security aware compared to others that may not be?
Okay, so first of all, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. So let's talk security, right? So what makes someone, either a DevOps engineer or developer, more security aware? I think that a company, when it wants to do something, right, they have a lot of projects and they're gonna say, okay, please do this and that. And they just take into consideration that you will handle the rest, because if you are, I assume, a senior, then you know that security is a must-have. It's something that you need to consider while you're doing anything. Either it's a project, a small ad hoc task, or whatever. So I think that in order to be aware, you need to understand that this is part of your job. I mean, companies say, please do X, you're gonna do X plus the considerations. So for me as a DevOps, let's take developers, okay? Developers have the functionality aspects of things, and this is their focus. My focus as a DevOps engineer is the environment, and I am the sole proprietary, owner of the environment. So I need to make sure the environment is stable and secure. And if I'm not going to do it, nobody else will do it for me. So since I'm taking all of this into consideration, this is why I'm considering security, because security is the aspect that will allow me to be better prepared for introducing new things and new tools for the environment, and to make it more, reliable. So security is a must-have. If it's not there, then the environment wouldn't be as stable as it could be.
Got it. Okay, well, let's get a little bit more into a little bit about you. So, Hila, you're a senior DevOps engineer at Wix. So give us a little bit more details, a little bit of your background and what you're doing now.
So first of all, let's tell our audience, well, we know each other. We came across each other from DevOps days, because we are co-organizers there. Yeah. You started, more, you're
a little bit before you, but that's okay.
Like a veteran, I think. So it's really awesome. We really both care about the community, and this is why we'll do it, because it's, completely pro bono, because we do care about the community. So this is what leads me on. So I'm participating in podcasts like yours and lecturing in conferences, and I am on the pull request community in Facebook, and Ba'ot, which is a community for technical women in high tech. So I really care about the community. I really care of what it could do. I actually sent out a newsletter about how the community affected JIT, a company, high-tech company, with changing their processes, the recruiting processes and day-to-day, which is astounding. I mean, I didn't know that we could have such an effect. So community matters. And that's why I'm doing whatever I can in order to push the community as far as I can. Other than that, I'm a lead singer in a cover band, which is a lot of fun. And really, I try to just be helpful as much as I can. If someone reaches out, I participated in a pitch night for a VC, because they wanted to get my opinion on DevOps tools that they want to invest in. So whatever I can, to help the community and help the tech industry, I'm good for it.
Absolutely, multi-talented. So Hila, how is it that you make security a priority in your day-to-day?
Okay, so I actually, I don't know why security is not a priority in general, because I think that everyone understands that security is important. It will protect you from bad things that could happen. So why it's not a priority in general, I think that maybe is because we are optimistic creatures, maybe, and we say that, hey, it wouldn't happen to me. But let's say that, I don't know, let's imagine that there's a fortune teller coming to you and say, hey, in March 2023, your company will suffer from breach X. You tell me, if someone came to you and not just, just a obscure fortune teller, someone with credentials, that everything that he or she says, everything happens, then what would you do? You would create tasks right away to prevent or mitigate or tackle this breach, right? So I think this is exactly that. I mean, if companies would know for sure that something will happen, then it will be in your day-to-day, and it will be introduced as tasks in your day-to-day. So I think that since I know that it doesn't happen, and I know that we want to stay positive, and we don't think bad things will happen because it's bad for business and it's bad for even your mental health, right? But I know that it could happen. So that's why I'm just thinking about it on my own day-to-day. So if I was asked to add a CIDR to a security group, I wouldn't just do that. I would look at the security group as a whole and see that, hey, if there's something odd there, if it's too wide open, I'm gonna do something about it. Another example that I have is that I have currently a project of restructuring subnets in our AWS account. And I already told my team leader upfront, I told him, yeah, I'm gonna do the restructure as a first phase, create subnets as the need will rise, but second phase will look at the security groups that are managed and linked in that subnet, because I want to make sure that everything is hardened. Because okay, cool, we dealt with it on the subnet aspects, so we will make this separate from this, and they wouldn't have access. But if security groups are wide open, then we didn't do anything, right? It's still the breach will still happen because it has another opportunity to do it on the security side of things, the security group side. So my priority is just understanding that this is part of my job. I mean, my job is not only deal with infrastructure side of things, with Terraform or Ansible or CI/CD or stuff. No, my job is also to make sure security is incorporated in everything that I'm gonna do, because this is my job description for me. Even if it's not stated in the job description, this is why I think will help company achieve whatever is needed and just be secure, because again, the environment is what matters, right? I care about the environment. I am the sole proprietor of owning the environment and being the gatekeeper of the environment. So in order to do that, I need to take care of the security aspects of things. And this way I can go to bed, safe and sound, and say that, okay, probably my next on-call, a phone call wouldn't be security related. It will be because something break, but not security. So for me, it will say, okay, cool. I can be good with that.
Always great. Yeah. To have a sort of security first mindset is always a very solid way to look at things, because that way, that you're not going to be the one that's burdened with those kinds of issues because you've already, prepared for them. So it's always fantastic to have, engineers that are really security focused. Part of what we're trying to do here at the podcast, of course, is to help engineers of all kind, make sure that they're seeing, what security means and why it's so important to be, looking at it from every perspective and from the beginning. So
it's not only that. I think that take another hot topic, for example, cost management, right? It's very, very important. In companies that have, the budget for it, create their own FinOps teams, right? That will take care of that. But even so, in Wix, we have a FinOps team, but it doesn't mean that I transfer the full ownership of cost management to them. No, if I have a project, I need to create a server, I need to create a Kubernetes cluster. I wouldn't go immediately and select the most big, machine type because, hey, I want to give them, what the heck? No, I need to think also about cost management and not just wait for the FinOps team to catch alert about, hey, she used, a machine type too big that is not very suitable or needed for that type of project. So, I mean, okay, some teams have the FinOps team, if they are big enough, but even if not, and even if the teams exist or not, I still need to have this mindset. Same goes for security. Even if you have a CISO in your, in your company and security teams, a whole team that is a whole purpose is to take care of security, it doesn't mean that, okay, I'm off the hook. No, it means that I need to work along with them. Hey, I can even learn from them. I can understand what are the pain points specifically for the company and in general, and understand where I can pitch in and do my part of things in order to make sure that they can do their job better, because it's my interest, of course, to say that if I'm going to do this, then they wouldn't nag me. They wouldn't open tickets for me. They wouldn't reach out via Slack and ask for things because I would already take care of things, right? So I think security is a win-win for me because it will help me develop my career, because if I want to go to I'm currently a DevOps and security is incorporated, but it's not the main focus. If I want to be a DevSecOps, then if I really put the effort and the emphasis on security, maybe I could also shift to be a DevSecOps, which is very good for your career because DevOps engineers are hard to find, but DevSecOps engineers are even harder. So it could help your career. It will help you be a better developer because you think about everything, not only what you need to do. It will help you incorporate a business mindset, which if you tell that to a company, they will hire you instantly, because people key concepts and key people in companies want to make sure that you're doing things not because you're asked to do that, but because you have the business mindset that leads you to why you're doing what you're doing, right? You don't want to be, I don't know if it's a phrase in English, you don't want to be a parrot, like I don't know, but you don't want to do like what you're being told. You want to make sure that you really think everything through, and security is one but a big aspect of things, and this is why for me it is incorporated. This is why I'm always gonna think in that way, and this is also why I'm gonna as much as possible incorporate tasks in my day-to-day, because I want to make sure that the company is covered. If the company is covered, then I'm covered.
Exactly. That's great. Yeah, it's we do call it parroting, right? When you're parroting someone else. Yep. So do like a parrot. Absolutely. So let's get to a bigger question, right? What do you see as your sort of philosophy in terms of the relationship between DevOps and security?
I think that, people, change is hard. Okay, let's start that. Change is hard. And if, I did a migration from Bitbucket to GitLab, and people needed to, some time to get used to GitLab and work with it. Same goes for security. Imagine that if security was always an integral part of your work, then you wouldn't need to do anything. It was there. But since it's not there, it wasn't started as an integral part, then you need to make it as such, okay? So change is hard, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. And if you will make security as part of your day-to-day, then it will be easier for you to anything. You don't need to think about things, like a coarse kind of perception of things. It will just come to you instantly. Like I create, a cluster. Let's make sure the security group is hardened and not just opened. I create a bucket. I'm instantly gonna create the bucket policy, which gives only the access that it needs, right? So I think that it is a must, and I think that if you will make it as your job description. I mean, my job description when I come to people, I'm not saying, okay, I know about Terraform, I know about Ansible and Jenkins and stuff like that. I also incorporate security practices in everything that I do, because my focus is the environment. And if you treat it as such, then I know that you're covered. You're covered. Everyone would want to work with you because you take care of things end to end. It will eventually make you a better developer, because if you think about security, then you will go to read about stuff online and you'll say, hey, this tool is great. I want to incorporate it in my CI, and then it will help catch vulnerabilities. So it will make you better employee. It will make you sleep better at night because you wouldn't be awake, from security issues. So I think that if you at first will proactively incorporate it in your day-to-day and in your mindset, then as like anything else in life, right? You train. Why someone told me that a while ago, why do you walk so well? Because from age 2, you practiced it, right? Same goes for security. If you will practice security mindset, then eventually it will be there, whether you think about it proactively or not. So train this line of thought, train this mindset, eventually it will happen.
Great. So now is the question that I ask all of my guests, which is, can you give us, that's not even a question, it's more like a request. Can you give us 1 or 2 tips that developers, DevOps can take, today that would help them secure, their code or their pipelines, their work, without taking too much time out of their daily workflow?
Yeah, so if you create, like, let's say, an infrastructure from scratch, either a server, a cluster, or a CI pipeline, then start fresh, and fresh means good, so network access limited, privileges list, grant the list privileges in order to do the work, but not get exposed to anything. Jenkins, for example, if you think about the access to Jenkins, so, multi-factor authentication and the list privileges and stuff like that. But also Jenkins pipelines themselves, they need to do things, right? They need to upload files to a bucket. They need to push code to a cluster. So also the serverless accounts that the pipelines uses, make them list privileges. Secrets, keep secrets, as secure as possible. Jenkins, they keep the secrets concealed, but not really. There's a script that you can run in the scripts area of Jenkins that will expose all your secrets. So this is a hazard, but it's something. So that's exactly it. If you can make sure that not everyone can access the script runner, so they can't have access to this kind of information, right? So that's exactly it. Know which tools you're working with and what are the limitations, and deal with them either with workarounds or taking proactive measures in order to make sure that these limitations wouldn't get used in a bad way. And I mean, these are the best practices as I know them, but if you're not sure, always collaborate. DevOps is based on collaboration. So always collaborate, ask other people, tell them, hey, I did X, I thought about X, Y, Z. Can you think about anything else that I missed? And then they will probably maybe raise something else. So there are the best practices that are like the must-haves and the ones that usually come to mind, but always think and open your mind to other things like the supply chain that I talked about. And then a collaboration will, is a good way to brainstorm. So think of other places, and it's not bad to ask for help. It's always a blessing. And that way you can really understand, and really not understand, but you can really know that you're covering everything, because you've taken your knowledge into consideration. You took others' knowledge. Otherwise, no, wait, what I want. Okay. Other knowledge means that, brainstorming or online influencer and stuff like that. And then you know that you're covered. And even if you're not covered, you know that you did the best that you can. And this is all that anyone could ask for.
Absolutely. So as they say in sales, famous line, ABC, always be closing. So maybe with DevOps, it should be ABC, always be communicating. So the more you communicate, the more you talk, the more you learn and share knowledge with everyone. And that's also why we have fantastic communities, and we have amazing developer advocates that we work with and that we know so well, who are helping developers also continue to grow and learn. So
I remember another thing, a crucial thing in my day-to-day that I wanna introduce. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Communicating is key, right? So I remember a lot of times when we do have security teams, and I remember other team members, from previous jobs, that they said, I told them, hey, talk to the security guy because XYZ. And I'm like, no, I don't want to talk to them because they will spring something on me and, create more work for me. And I'm like, no, this shouldn't be your line of thought. More work is good, because on the long term, again, if you think about the company needs, not your needs that you want to go to play basketball, if you want to think about the company needs, know that his inputs are good and are crucial for what you're trying to do, because this is his job to think about all the the loopholes, right? So don't avoid communicating with people like security people and stuff like that. I wouldn't tell you that these are your friends. They are not your friends. They have different, supposedly different priorities in mind, but not really, because on your day-to-day, they have separate priorities, but on your end game, the end game is to serve the company, right? So again, if you tap, everything, comes together. If you tap into the company needs, then you know and understand that if you'll talk to the security guy, it's not against you. It's not that he will tell you to do X because, hey, you did a bad job, or it's not unneeded. No, it's very needed, because the end game is what matters, which is the company needs, and to make sure the company is secured as much as possible, product-wise or the environment and stuff like that. So communicating is key. And please, I encourage you not to spare details from your team leader, from security people. Make sure that everything is really wide open on the table, because these exactly are the things where we fall, okay? Because the PR was approved too quickly, and not enough people took the time to go over it and make sure that, hey, no, wait, yeah, the code is okay, but you didn't think about X, or you put the hard coded for this, or the secret is wide open and stuff like that. Okay, so make sure that processes are set in order to really lay out the foundation to have the inputs that you need, because even if you don't think it is needed, it is. Because again, if you don't have the security mindset, others have it, and this is the way for you to tap into that and make everyone come together and eventually help the company succeed.
So. Absolutely. Collaborate and be verbose. Like a good error is always verbose, always tells us exactly what's wrong and not just very generic.
Which is great, because null exception doesn't help me or anyone in this world. Verbose is the place to be.
And every time you fix a problem, even though it's going to create more work for you in the short term, in the long run, it really does cut things down, because you can start automating for things that you didn't realize need to be done a certain way. And from then on, it's a piece of cake.
For sure, because sometimes people don't even think the long term is about these things. If you do something and you don't think about security, then on the long term, you have tasks to fix these, to create remedies for these kind of things. But if you, and these tasks wouldn't be necessarily in your convenience, right? Because you are in the middle of another project or you want to do something else. But if you're in the context of the project that you're working on, then finish it, do whatever is needed security-wise, anything else, finish all the scope end to end, and then you can really forget about it in the long term and not get back to it like a boomerang, because hey, first I didn't think of that, and then he noticed it like later on, because only then he got to see that, and then all sorts of things. So it really is important to do things end to end, and for me, end to end means also security aspects, because it will bite me in the ass if I can say that in a podcast later on. So yeah, it's very important.
Yeah. Perfect. Hila, thanks so much for your time. I had a really fun time, learned a lot as always, and hope to see you at a future event or something like that. And always stay security conscious.
For sure. Thanks, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye.